Okay, welcome everybody. We will call the City Council Committee of the Whole meeting for May 9th, 2022 to order. The clerk will kindly call the roll.
Brereton.
Here.
Fleury.
Here.
Frank. Here. Freeman. Freeman is absent. McGee.
Here.
Mulhall. Here. Porter.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Snow.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
9 present.
Okay, thank you. Under public comment, we have Mr. Ron Gordon here with Main Street Players of Boone County. Mr. Gordon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me some time to speak to you. I represent Main Street Players of Boone County. We are actually into our 28th season here in Belvedere, and I just want to let the council here know that we really appreciate everything that you guys do to us, but we really want to make sure that you know that we're out there, and also let your constituents know that we're there. We are a non-for-profit organization, and we do 3 main shows a year. We are actually opening this Friday with Sound of Music. It is a dual cast, so we will be doing it this weekend and next weekend. It is one of our shows that we've been wanting to do. It has lots of kids in it, and so we have a lot of participation. I am personally not a Belvedere resident. I am actually from Rockford, and we pull from not just the Rockford and the Belvedere area, but Poplar Grove and all over Boone County. It is like I said, we've been here for over 28 seasons, and with COVID, we've had to find new ways to reach out. We have also opened up. We are now doing a show in the park for free during the summer. It's a great time that we have. You can just come and see the show down at the Baltic Mill, thank you. And we also do a children's camp for free for kids for 1 week. These kids learn a show in a week. They've learned Peter Pan. They've learned, it was called McQuaddle, Dragon's Tale. They had a lot of fun with that one. So we've done all kinds of shows with them. It is, again, just to let you folks know that we're here. I want to also invite you to the show. We do have available tickets to you for 1 ticket to come and see us and just see what we do. We do put on quality productions. I can't speak enough about it, but Harmony will have the information for you. But please come out and see us at the community building. We really do encourage you to let not just yourself know, but those around you know that we are available. So thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. I appreciate you coming down here on behalf of Main Street Players, and we look forward to getting down there and seeing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Next on the agenda, we have Chief Al Heiser. He wants to chat with us this evening. Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's been a while since I've seen you, a couple weeks, I think, to be exact. Council, this is my final council meeting, and just want to just talk a little bit. 7 years of working with you as your fire chief has gone by really quick. I wanted to acknowledge you for working with me and making decisions that positively affected our department. Together, we built a fire department that, in my opinion, is the envy of all fire agencies in our region. It's a department that our citizens can depend on when they need them, and a department that we can all be very proud of. Hold on. Someone want to read this? No. I hope that you guys continue to make decisions that will make our fire department continue to flourish now and in the future. My never good at that. 27 years as a member of our department comes to a close. Sorry, guys. Sunday, May 15th. The opportunity to serve in public safety for my hometown was a blessing. It's a blessing that I always cherish for as long as I live. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
With that being said, I wanted to thank Chief Heiser for his 27 years of service, 7 as a chief here. Certainly done well, served this community well. I think you're a lifetime community guy, right? You're born and raised guy.
Garden Prairie to here.
Garden Prairie to here, okay.
60 years in Boone County.
Okay, so we won't give away your age. You don't look 60. Anyhow, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed working with you. You've served, I know, the citizens of Belvedere well, and I'm grateful, and I know the council's grateful. So on your next endeavor, I wish you the very best. Whatever is in store for you, I know you'll be successful. And I know you'll enjoy it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Before coming here this evening, I waltzed in here about 2 minutes till 6, but I was at a 100th birthday party for a World War II veteran, Gregory De Leon. Mr. De Leon was served in the Army. He was enlisted in the Army at the 18 years of age, World War II veteran, as I said. He served until 1943, and I had read a proclamation from him. I know Belvedere Fire, Chief, Belvedere Fire, thank you for being representative. Belvedere Police Department, Chief Woody, thank you for being representative. District 2 Fire was there as well. Not to mention our VFW Honor Guard and our VFW administration, Mr. Greg Kelm, also American Legion and some of its members, not to mention all of the military members that have served at one time or another that came out in honor of Mr. De Leon. So the proclamation, I am not sure, today actually is Mr. De Leon's 100th birthday. So with that being said, I would like to read the proclamation. I am hoping that his family and him can come here next week. It may not be his birthday, but I would certainly like him to come here. But I do want to read this for the record. So the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Gregory De Leon has achieved a milestone of 100 years of age on May 9th, 2022, and whereas Mr. De Leon was married to Feliciana De Leon for over 61 years, and this marriage blessed his family with 8 children, 29 grandchildren, 45 great-grandchildren, and 9 great-great-grandchildren. And whereas Mr. De Leon has lived during the most eventful century of this world's history. Whereas Mr. De Leon was drafted into the Army Corps when he was 18 years of age to serve during World War II, and whereas Mr. De Leon was sent to San Antonio, Texas, to complete his basic training and continued his active duty training in St. Petersburg, Florida, Salt Lake City, Utah, El Paso, Texas, and Wichita Falls, Texas, and whereas Mr. De Leon's military career ended in 1943, to which led him to move back to Big Wells, Texas, his small hometown, and whereas Mr. De Leon's career continued as a truck driver for his father's company, and whereas today we gather to celebrate the fact that Gregory De Leon has graced those around him with 100 years of life, spirit, and joy, and whereas the City of Belvedere recognizes and commends Mr. De Leon for his service to this great country and serving his community with his presence and kindness. Now therefore, I, Clinton Morris, Mayor Belvedere, do hereby take official note of the joyous occasion for Mr. De Leon's 100th birthday, and so hereby proclaim May 9th, 2022 to be Gregory De Leon Day. So Mr. De Leon certainly does not look to be 100 years of age, I will tell you that. And God has blessed Mr. De Leon, and today he blessed the City of Belvedere to be able to celebrate with him, a World War II veteran, on his 100th birthday. So thank you to Mr. De Leon. Thank you to his wonderful family. And I hope that they can come and join us here maybe next Monday night. So I thought the council would want to hear that. We certainly don't have these very often, and we've been blessed to have one today. Public forum, we have none. Reports of officers, boards, and special committees. We have item 1, building, planning, zoning, unfinished business. We have none. Building, planning, zoning under new business. Building department update, please.
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of April, we issued 111 permits for a value of construction of $6,780,000 and a revenue of $80,821. We issued 27 single-family home permits, 15 commercial. Some of those of note would be Crusader Clinic, which is expanding, a solar array at Logistics Drive. The department is currently reviewing Taco Bell, Murphy's Oil. Chapco Shaw is moving to the old bank building, if you weren't aware. Brashan Dental and the storage units on Chrysler Drive. And for property maintenance, we closed 16 issues and we now have 17 in progress. And I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Countryman? Alderwoman Frank?
Yep, I just noticed that on 1000 Nettie Drive, I believe it's Drive Street, they sold the land bank home, correct?
He hasn't. Oh, I don't know if he sold it or not. Last time I knew, he was getting ready to do his final inspection for it. I know there is an open house on May 13th for it.
So the land bank still owns it? Nobody's bought it?
No, that was one of the 3 properties that the land bank turned over. 1000 Nettie, there's one on Allen, and one on Garfield. They're all under permit right now to remodel them and then sell them to a prospective buyer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Kip? Alderman Snow?
And it might be also Gina, but what's the latest scoop with the car wash next to Little Caesars? Thank you.
I have not heard from him in probably about a month. As we get closer to his expiration date, I will be pestering him for updates.
Thank you.
Or if it becomes a property maintenance violation, he will be pestered.
I was
Alderwoman
won-
Mohal. Yes.
Thank you. I was wondering, most of the single-family home permits, where are those located? Or are they spread out?
Farmington Fields is pretty much built out, except for, I believe, 5 lots. One of the first 2 phases has 4 lots, and then there's 1 lot left on, is it Huntington? But other than that, it's permitted, and then they're probably gonna start digging the rest of the lots tomorrow.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Kip. Moving on, item B, Planning Zoning Department. Gina?
April, staff was busy with the Project Kelly cases that were all approved on Monday. Got 4 cases for next month, so we'll be prepping those. Spent quite a bit of time with Dunkin' Donuts bought Grandma's Restaurant, so we've been going back and forth trying to get their site plan in a state that was ready to submit to be on the next month's agenda, so they're pretty good with that now. Site plan reviews go along with the permits that Kip's issued. Working on Heritage Day stuff, that's coming up sooner than we all realize. The commission issued a couple grants for facade grants, and they have 1 more grant to review for next month. And I sent out all the downtown overlay facade grant stuff, so I'd expect that to be coming in pretty soon as well.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Delrose? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Gina. Public Works unfinished business, item 3, we don't have any. Item 4, new business, Public Works update. Brent?
As far as the update goes, Illinois Department of Transportation, they're beginning their preliminary engineering work for the 4-lane widening of Business Route 20 from Shaw Road to, limits go to Appleton, but the widening will stop probably at Van Epps. One of the items that they may or may not include in the project design would be a multi-use path. They're potentially showing that on the south side of the road. They have reached out to the local agencies, the county, as well as the city, to find out, get our interest in maintaining the path if it were to be constructed. The state would pay for the initial construction, and they would look to the local agencies, either the county or the city within the jurisdiction, to maintain the path as constructed. We met with the county, myself, Conservation District, and the Park District all met last week to review the plans. And the results of that discussion were that none of the entities had the time, the manpower, or the financing to undertake the long-term maintenance of the path. So that would be our inclination at this point in time. I'd kind of like to get a straw poll from the council as to your thoughts on if you agree with that position, because the state is looking to have some direction from us. If they don't have any takers for the maintenance of the path, they will probably just forego the path at this time. Well, again, the IDOT is required through federal legislation to at least look at the Complete Streets initiative, which includes bicycle and pedestrian facilities. So they're in order to comply with those requirements, they are showing a multi-use path along the south side of the road on US 20 for the length of it would go from Shaw Road to actually Appleton Road and tie into the path that's already there on Appleton Road. But they do not want to maintain the path, even though it's on their right of way and they're going to pay for the initial cost of it. They are looking for the local agencies to do the long-term maintenance, which means ultimately when that has to be redone or repaved, they'd be looking, we would be on the hook for those funds going forward once that initial construction is done. So yes, the indication from the county is they were not interested in maintaining the path. Park District, Conservation District, neither one of those entities were interested in maintaining the path as well. And I basically stated the same position on the city's behalf, at least initially, that yeah, we just don't have the resources going forward to be able to maintain that path network.
Okay, Alderman Snow.
How about the Belvedere Township?
Township was there at our meeting last week also, and they had the same point of view as well.
On that note, though, you wouldn't be able to do it now because they've already had their annual meeting, but technically you could throw that on their annual meeting and all the people that showed up, which you could fill the room up with people to vote and force them to do it. Just tossing that out there.
Well, but the township then would have to agree to take, the way the discussion goes, you'd be looking at the township to take over the entire path. Because again, the interests are not necessarily the interest, but just the reality of the financing and the manpower and the time. Yeah, it was not receptive that way. So again, if I could just get a straw vote with the council, hand vote, if anybody's interested in that. I guess if you're interested in having the path, if I could get a show of hands, or if you're not interested, just so I have some direction so we can relate that back, because we do have to respond back to IDOT. Very good, thank you.
Okay. All right, Brent, you also have B, C, and D, right?
Yes, sir, I'll keep going. Next up is the ICC stipulated agreement for the Appleton Road crossing gates. Memo in your packet and a copy of the agreement. The agreement with the ICC concerns the safety improvements of the Union Pacific mainline crossing of Appleton Road. The agreement provides for the installation of automatic flashing light signals with gates and bell, controlled by a constant warning time secretary with an event recorder and remote monitor. The improvements will be completed by the Union Pacific and will be at no expense to the city. Notice the date on the agreement was June 2nd of 2021. When we originally received this, we have in the works improvements to Appleton Road to widen it out to 4 lanes. The stipulated agreement as it is written is for the Appleton, the 2-lane section of Appleton that's currently exists at the mainline crossing. So we were in discussions with the ICC to see if they could to forego this improvement at this time until that 4-lane work was completed. In the meantime, since then, we've also looked at the possibility of a grade separation for the Appleton Road crossing. We have done a very preliminary design, just a feasibility to see if indeed the grade separation would work. It will. The price tag, the preliminary budget number on that is about $15 to $16 million for that grade separation. It will take probably at least a minimum of 5 to probably 10 years for that project to get to the point that it's constructible if we go that route. And that would be, of course, that would be a benefit to the Stellantis plant, depending on what happens out there, as well as if commuter rail does indeed come through Belvedere, having that grade separation crossing would be a benefit there as well. In talking with the ICC, this grade protection upgrade is only for that single mainline crossing, and due to the amount of time now that since the grade separation issue has been brought on board, it was their feeling that they would rather see the safety improvement done now with the existing conditions, and then with whatever happens in the future with the grade separation would happen at that point in time. So there is no cost to the city. Therefore I would recommend approval of the stipulated agreement 2146 with the ICC and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Thank you. I have one question here. What is grade separation? Is that where you put the bridge over the tracks? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct, grade separation would be, in this case, would be an overpass.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. We had, when I had originally sought office, I'd always believed that those railroad tracks, you know, they don't provide great traffic for freight. They don't provide, they risk public safety by splitting the town in half, essentially, when Stellantis or Chrysler prior would run trains, they'd be several miles long, and they would divide the town between north and south. When I had sought office, I had thought that it was a good idea, and I was told that it was not possible, it was not feasible. Well, I know one thing, I know anything's possible if you have enough money. And so I have been in contact with Brent, with IDOT, with some of the state representatives, and hopefully some of our federal representatives, to be able to court this as a development that I believe Stellantis is going to be back manufacturing automobiles in this community. I'm an optimist regarding that, but you know, and the train, if we do have passenger rail service here, then they will be utilizing those same tracks. I'm hopeful that if we're going to dump $6 million towards a project with a 4-lane, that we could perhaps entertain maybe something more fruitful and doing it right the first time, because it's probably the only chance we're ever going to get to do it. So I have had negotiations or have had discussions with some of our state officials, and also R1, who does help us with some of our funding, has that on their project list, and I haven't been told no yet. So, Alderman Porter.
I just have one comment on the crossing gates. I see a little bit of a problem with, a lot of times the trains will stop maybe 100 feet down from the crossing and just sit there for quite a while. And if the gate's activated, are they going to have somebody there, you know, on the ground that will open the gate to let people through, or do you see that being a problem?
They will probably have to adjust where they stop, basically, is to be back from where the trips the gates, and that's where they'll stage is. They'll just stage before they get to that point. So there'll be a little bit of adjustment on theirs, because that's what sentiment I echoed to the ICC was with how things work out there now, and the fact that you're going to have the gates down and the way they switch back and forth. So yes, there are probably some adjustments on how they stage or how they switch in order to avoid those kind of backups.
Okay, any other questions? All right, hearing none, we have a motion and a second to approve, to recommend approval of the stipulated agreement 2146 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Brent?
Next up is the primary clarifiers, memo in your packet. A proposal from Baxter Woodman in the amount not to exceed $84,000 to complete the design engineering for the rehabilitation of the primary clarifiers and pump house at the wastewater treatment plant. This work will be paid from the ARPA funds, line item number 415-110-8029. The budget number right now we're looking at is about $1.5 million. As they get through the engineering stuff, it'll be further defined. And costs right now are due to delivery times and so forth and delays. It'll be interesting to see where it comes in after more of the engineering gets done. But as of right now, it's estimated to be a $1.5 million project. I would recommend approval of the proposal from Baxter and Woodman in an amount not to exceed $84,000 for the design engineering for the primary clarifiers rehabilitation project. And again, this work will be paid for from ARPA funds, line item 415-110-8029. Schedule-wise, this work would go out to bid just about when, right at the end of when our current project down there, the digester rehabilitation project, will be concluded.
Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderman Porter. Any other questions for Brent? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, thank you.
And the final on the agenda for Public Works is the Florence Court reconstruction project. We have 2 change orders we need to act upon. The underground work is just about complete, actually. The weather's finally cooperating, so they should be able to make some real good progress this week on that project. Change order number 1 was to replace 2 4-inch line stops that were called for in the plans, to switch them out to valves. And by doing that work, the line stops is basically a one-time only thing to control the water, whereas the valves work always after that. So it provides us with a lot better control of the water system when we have to go to shut off and controlling the water main system in that area. So we felt that it was a worthwhile change to make that change to go to the valves. The cost of that addition is $7,528.06. The second change order is to lower the existing 4-inch water main. Unfortunately, that water main was lower than anticipated, so sanitary sewer we felt was going to be able to get under the existing water main. However, when they excavated it and got down there to where we needed to go, it was in conflict. So the existing water main had to be lowered, and the cost to do that was $8,705.50. Therefore, I would recommend approval of the change order proposals from Dale's Plumbing in the amount of $16,233.56 for change order number 1 and change order number 2 of the Florence Court reconstruction project. The change orders represent a 5.8% increase in the contract, and this work will be paid for from line item 41-5-110-8027.
Okay. We have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderwoman Frank, second by Alderman Fleury. Any discussion, any questions regarding that? Alderman Snow?
Was there any contingencies built into the original cost of the 281 million, or 281,000, sorry?
Yes, we had contingency included in our budget.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. And Brent, did you have anything else here this evening?
That's it.
Okay. All right, under other, we put this on the agenda for an executive session, but I don't think it would be advantageous right now to do that, so we are not going to have that. The only other thing is a motion to adjourn, please. Motion by Alderwoman Prather, second by Alderman McGee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you very much.